How we doing, nation? So I wanted to bring you a little bit different kind of video today. Really talk about the winners and the losers of the big deals from this week. This is the first time the winter meetings have had any action in a long time. I remember back in 2011, which I guess would have been the 2010 winter meetings then, when I was looking for an internship for the 2011 summer. They have a huge job fair there. So if you all are out there, any of you are college aged or you're looking for a career change, the job fair at the winter meetings has about 300 positions. I think when I was there, you walk around, um, drop your resume in boxes, sign up for interview slots. I think I had 7 interviews in that week. Really great place to get your foot in the door in baseball, but that's a little sidebar. But that year, the biggest signing was Jason Worth going to the Nationals. Now, that changed the future of the Nationals in a big way. And one of these signings at this year's winter meetings could do the exact same thing. The last couple years have been very cold, ice cold, really until spring training. So this is awesome. As you can see here, and I've got it up on the screen, Anthony Rendon is the most recent one to sign. 7 years, $245 million. Huge agreement, actually matches identically with what the Nationals gave Steven Strasburg. But Garrett Cole, at his massive contract, $36 million a year, $324 million to go to the Yankees. So you might be asking yourself, who won? You know, the Nationals got a player back that they thought they might lose. The Yankees got an ace. The Angels got a phenomenal third baseman. What can we make of all of it? Well, I think the biggest winner of this whole thing is the Yankees, because they made it to the ALCS. Who knows if video or any of that stuff calls the Yankees, but they made it that far with the pitching staff they had, which was basically a staff of number twos. Luis Severino's good, but he's too inconsistent to really be a top-of-the-line ace. James Paxton's a good pitcher. Jay Happ is pretty decent. Masahiro Tanaka. They have some decent pitchers. But the great thing about adding an ace is everybody gets bumped down one. Like, I played tennis, and when a good player came in, could bump everybody down the ladder, made the whole thing more competitive. So now Severino goes to a 2, Tanaka might go to a 3, Domingo Germán. You just have a lot of talent in that Yankee rotation now to go with the bullpen, to go with the great lineup. I don't really see how they're not in the World Series next year from the American League. So they are the biggest winner. Number 2, I'm actually going with the Angels here, because the Angels had a good lineup. They had Mike Trout. You know, there's a little bit left in the tank with Pujols. Him and Justin Upton are still kind of bad first at this point, but they can hit. If Tommy La Stella comes back from injury, he's a really good second baseman. Setting the table for Trout. You could have Rendon batting behind him. Shohei Ohtani will be back and completely healthy. He'll be batting and he'll be pitching next season. They still have some needs to address. It's still going to be curious to see what they do with the pitching. Do they go after Hyun-Jin Ryu and just bring him right across town? Maybe they go with Dallas Keuchel. Maybe they go with another trade. They already traded for Dylan Bundy. So the Angels are making moves. If I was an Angels fan, I would be very excited about this, because Artie Moreno is proving he is going for it. And after the massive contract he gave Mike Trout last year, he kind of has to go for it and take advantage of the money he's already put out there. So you go from having the 30th ranked third baseman in baseball last year across a whole 162 game slate to now one of the best in the game in Anthony Rendon. I mean, he is a huge upgrade over Zach Cozart, I guess was the headliner of that group, who's now in San Francisco. So the Angels are my number 2. The Nationals are 3, because basically what they did is they brought back a pitcher that people thought may leave. I never thought he was going to San Diego like some did. He'd sold his house there. He'd moved to D.C. I thought if one was going to stay, it would be Strasburg. So that's going to count as a win. Had he left, it could have been a massive loss for the Nationals. They would be considered the losers of all losers. But now they keep Scherzer, Strasburg, Corbin, Anibal Sanchez. The Nationals won the World Series last year because of the strength of the rotation, and they keep it together for the long term now. When they originally signed Corbin, anticipating that potentially Strasburg left after this season, now they have them both. The Nationals also, because of the structuring of Strasburg's deal, this is where it gets a little interesting. The annual value, the AAV that goes into the salary cap, that's considered with deferrals built in. So basically, over that 7-year deal, they just divide 245 by 7 and add that as far as it goes for the luxury tax. Now, 80 million of that 245 is deferred. So in that 7-year deal, the Nationals are only paying Strasburg 165 million. Now, why is that important? This leaves them a lot of money to go out and get someone else. They probably couldn't have pulled off Rendon, or they could have. But either way, whether you want to listen to the owners, you want to listen to Boris, whoever, it basically means now they can go out and get someone like Donaldson, maybe, even throw 100, 120 towards him. That's still half of Rendon's contract. You can still turn around and get someone like a Bumgarner if you want to keep going to the rotation. You can go and maybe get a Dellin Betances to add into the bullpen. There are multiple different things the Nationals can do here. There's been talks about Chris Bryant. I don't see the Nationals going down that route because they have Carter Kieboom and not a whole lot else in the minor leagues that I think the Cubs would be interested in. So now I see the Nationals pivoting, and I see Josh Donaldson signing somewhere probably before the week's over, probably in D.C., because right now, all the Nationals have done is weaken their team because they brought Strasburg back, but now they've lost a piece. But I think if they bring in Donaldson, Rendon brought a lot to the table, but Donaldson's a really good hitter and a good defender. So I don't think it's addition by subtraction like it was with Harper. He had a huge ego and was just a huge personality that kind of overshadowed the rest of the team, whether he meant for it to or not. Rendon was a team-first guy. I think his bat, his defense will definitely be missed, his presence in the clubhouse, but I think it's going to do a lot for the Angels. The biggest winner, even bigger than the Yankees, has to be Scott Boras. $814 million in contracts just this week. Really the last 3 days. That is insane. I don't know what type of commission he gets, but Scott Boras might as well go ahead and buy a private jet right now if he doesn't have one. Go ahead and fly to Italy for dinner, get a nice pizza, fly right back. That's the type of money he has now. Now, the losers in this deal, one of them has to be the Texas Rangers. They're building a brand new stadium. Anthony Rendon is from Texas. He could have been a huge star to put in that stadium. I don't think Rendon ever wanted to be the star. He wasn't the star in D.C. because when Harper was there, it was Harper. Once Harper left, everybody was looking at Juan Soto, or it was still Ryan Zimmerman's team. You had Max Scherzer on the mound, Strasburg. There were some big personalities, some big names on that team. Rendon kind of carried himself below the radar. And in Texas, he would have had to been the star. And I'm not sure if he was comfortable with that. I don't want to put words in his mouth. But having met the guy and spoken with him personally, he's a very low-key individual. I don't think he would have wanted to be the star. And now he can be with Mike Trout, who will be getting all the attention the rest of his career. The Rangers hurt themselves too because not only did they lose out on Anthony Rendon, they also traded Nomar Mazara. So there's not even as much name recognition as they had last year going into this new stadium. You're looking to replace an outfielder now. You still need a third baseman because they really haven't found an answer since Adrian Beltre retired. So they're a big loser. Another loser in this whole thing is going to be the Astros because the Angels now have gotten stronger. They got Rendon. They're probably a solid starter away from at least pushing the Astros. I don't know if they can pass them yet, but from pushing the Astros. The Astros, meanwhile, they have Verlander, but arguably Garrett Cole was the ace of that staff. They've lost him. They haven't replaced him with anyone. And what's more alarming is the Astros have discussed trading Carlos Correa because they have so many young players. They know a lot of contracts are going to be due at the same time. They've already paid Altuve, but eventually they're going to have to pay Alvarez. You've got Alex Bregman due up. George Springer's going to be due up again. Yuli Gurriel. There are a lot of high-priced players on that team who are going to be coming up for a payday before long. And with the Astros losing the World Series last year, their window may be closing, especially with what Major League Baseball still has to reveal as far as punishments from their filming scandal. So I think the Astros are a loser here as well. It remains to be seen what else continues to happen. The winners and losers could shift, but basically that's who I think the winners and the losers are from this specific week. So I'd love to hear your take on it. Who do you think the winner was this week? Was it one of these three teams? Was it another team that I didn't mention? There were a lot of signings this week. I just touched the big three names. So leave your comments down below. Who do you think the big winner was? Who do you think the big loser was? And what free agent do you think is going to sign next? Can't wait to hear from you all. And in the meantime, head on out to the store, see if you can find some baseball cards to tide you over till spring training. Happy collecting. I'll see you next time.